On June 23rd, 2012, the Flying W Ranch was in the midst of celebrating its 60th anniversary. And we noticed a large plume of smoke actually starting to originate from Waldo Canyon. Over the course of the next 3 days, we were going about normal daily business, but that's when the fire actually crested the hill directly behind us and came roaring down the hill at about 60 miles per hour. We evacuated the ranch and we got out of here as fast as we could, and we can pretty much guarantee that the entire chuck wagon burned in under 30 minutes. Well, following the devastation of the Waldo Canyon fire, we came in here and we didn't know exactly what we were doing. Volunteers for Outdoor Colorado approached us to come out here and do work on our land in order to start teaching us too.
Volunteers for Outdoor Colorado is a great organization. Our mission is committed to environmental education, conservation, and engagement of people and the general public in outdoor stewardship. Natural disasters like we're seeing in Colorado, fire and flood that are very, very close to communities, are affecting us all much more severely than if they were just happening in a wilderness area where there was less population. Those natural disasters are so much more impactful in terms of open space, our parks, our trails, and all of the natural resources that we engage with or interact with. And consequently, our land managers were really without the resources to manage. And so Volunteers for Outdoor Colorado became a really critical piece of that.
Last September, due to the floods that hit the Front Range, we actually had 4 parks that were damaged. This particular trail that we're working on today, Mustang, has been closed basically since last September.
Without the help of VOC,
yeah, it wouldn't have been possible to open up this trail. If we wouldn't have had their help, we'd have been extending this out probably into 2016.
Our mission is really one of motivating and enabling people to get out and do it easily and well. But at the same time, I think our vision is that we are really around for the long haul, and everyone in Colorado has a stake in taking care of its outdoors.
So one of the things with fire in the West, the fire begins, scorches the landscape, and then what follows for 3, 5, 10, 20 years is flooding off of that fire scar. In Colorado, these big fires do yield big floods.
In the year of 2013, following the fire, we had about 60,000 cubic yards of sediment come down into North Douglas drainage on the Flying W Ranch property. With all these flooding events, we have a lot of erosion. There's nothing to hold that water back like we used to have when we had a thriving forest.
We can't fix what's broke after a fire. We can't just go in and wave a magic wand and put it back to what it was. So the recovery starts with doing work to reduce that erosion and flooding.
So today we have a group of volunteers that came out to the Waldo Canyon burn scar, and they are seeding the hillside. So after the fire, the hillside needs to be stabilized just to prevent erosion from happening.
My family and I and friends were evacuated from the Waldo Canyon fire. Through that, being personally affected and seeing friends who lost their homes and their communities directly affected by this has instilled a passion for me to be out here to help actually restore the local community out here from the floods that are now affecting the community. So it comes full circle.
And the work today is really to help protect the water supply for the city, as well as to prevent erosion from going down into the town and preventing homes and buildings that are downstream from where we are.
We realized that we were actually we were the buffer zone between the city of Colorado Springs and Pike National Forest. Whatever plans we put in place were all helpful practices in order to protect the city from imminent destruction because of the sediment coming down. When the VOC came out here, we were still in the grieving phase, and it was such an overwhelming feeling to have these volunteers, especially from this organization that I'd never even heard of, coming out here to lend a hand.
Volunteers for Outdoor Colorado is a great choice for the Pikes Peak Community Foundation's funding because of their fantastic use of volunteers. They do a great job of connecting volunteers to Colorado's natural resources. It also provides a skill set for the volunteers. And without Volunteers for Outdoor Colorado, all of this work couldn't happen. Organizations don't have the funding to hire 126 crew leaders. So to have skilled volunteers willing to take on that role is incredible.
When you put boots on the ground, when you get people out on the ground, it actually is valued monetarily in terms of the amount of work that's accomplished. So often what we hear is on a weekend project, if we go out on a Saturday and a half-day Sunday, we will accomplish more in that weekend with 40 volunteers than that public land agency may be able to accomplish in a full year with 2 or 3 employees. There's so much out here we need to get done, and you can give time. And volunteering, that's primarily where most people engage with us, and that's where we want people to engage. Give first of your time if you can. But there are a lot of us that, can give in other ways as well. So if you have $1 to give, consider 84 cents of it. We'll make sure that you've got that trail to be on, or you've got that place that you can picnic with your family, and that's because of Volunteers for Outdoor Colorado getting out there and getting it done.